Hi people, it's me again obviously, Moino Ravenberg, as always. This is going to be a quick video on, as the header almost always, or at the very least as usual, conveys. This is going to be your astral body and messages. Now this is closely related to stuff you can find linked in the description of this video. The things relating to dreams, etc., etc., etc. I've already said this in the past, but not specifically within within the context of what I am about to say. Now, hold on. Yeah. In relation to your astral body, a lot of people don't realize this or they're not aware of it. The same way that when you get hurt, your physical body essentially sends a signal to you that, hey, I'm hurt, as in, hey, bitch, we're hurt. Something as simple as a pinprick to a bee stinging you, your body will give up the whole point of pain receptors. And of course, pain is a good thing. A lot of people don't realize this, but it's a good thing because it's your body's way, your physical body's way of alerting you that something is wrong. We've sustained, or we've accumulated, or we've contracted damage. As in, your physical body is doing this. Hey, bitch, I'm damaged. I'm damaged here. That's why you're feeling that pain there. This is how I'm damaged. Look at that. See the response you're seeing. All gives away exactly what's wrong with you physically. The same thing when you're sick. Your body is giving you signals that, hey, we're not well, okay? We're severely fucked up, etc. You name it. The severity can depend on, obviously the severity depends on numerous factors. But it's obvious, okay? The message is clear, I mean. Your astral body, so your spirit, does the same thing. And that's why you usually get dreams, especially when it comes to hectic situations or when things are happening in your life, because your astral body is essentially like Lassie the dog going like this. Your astral body, your spirit is warning you of something happening. For example, I'm going to give examples out of my own personal life. I broke off contact with a customer of mine. No offense to him, but not a well-known customer. I simply broke off contact with someone like, half a year ago. And the person also has a decent level of magical proficiency. I simply ghosted the person because the person was essentially someone that essentially was very, very financially oriented, and the person was chasing like a metaphorical purple dragon. So the person had the bad habit of being stuck in a cycle or a loop where all they do is focus on money, but in an unrealistic manner. So what happens is that they end up keeping continuously, or they keep ending up chasing that metaphorical dollar. In some cases, in a certain context, literally. And that was the case with him. And he just is one of those get-rich-quick scheme kind of guys. He keeps chasing a dollar, and he keeps coming up with these unorthodox and metaphorically outlandish ways of trying to attain money and trying to become like super wealthy, like millionaire, billionaire, you name it, multi-millionaire. He tries to attain those levels of wealth, and of course that doesn't work out for him more often than not. And in my time of working with him, I didn't come to that realization, but I definitely noticed it. The thing is that when I work with him, it was purely giving him the benefit of the doubt. Because I'm like, if there is even the slightest chance of this going on or this happening, then it's well worth the risk, the calculated risk. So I don't have anything to lose other than my own energy and whatnot. But of course, needless to say, things did not work out because his stuff is too far-fetched. Okay, his MO, his modus operandi, the way he goes about working is just too far-fetched. Anyways, this guy, what he did is that he also checked me out spiritually. And again, with me, if someone even seriously thinks about me, even remotely, I don't want to say poses a threat to me, because it doesn't even pose a threat to me. If someone literally just even remotely thinks about me in a way that is actually worthy of my attention based on my intent, my astral body immediately notifies me like that. And in that case, I had a dream, for example, about that same customer that I'm talking about, like half a year ago, when I broke off contact with them, or better said, shortly after I broke off contact with them, a month or two after. This also could have been 4 months ago or something. I can't really remember all too well. I mean, I don't pay attention to stuff like that in detail. I have so many things to think about. Anyways, I had a dream that I was sitting with the guy in his car. It was nighttime and we were driving around. And that was essentially what the dream was comprised of or made up of. The rest were insignificant details from a mundane perspective, stuff that's not really important. But yeah, the message is clear, okay? I know what the message was. When I woke up, I barely even had to ask my astral body, hey, what does this mean? No. Because I was like, yeah, this means that he checked me out, right? He wanted to know why I ghosted him or why all of a sudden there's no response from my end out. He was like, yeah, definitely. That's all that he did. Of course, he didn't find out anything. The only conclusion he could come to based on everything is that you ghosted him or that you broke off contact with him for whatever reason. But he wanted to know the reason, but obviously I didn't allow that. Yeah, obviously my astral body is not going to allow me through. So he essentially simply sees darkness when trying to check me out and like a big question mark or nothing, just outright nothing. Same thing. That is literally my astral body essentially notifying me through a dream, as in, hey, this is what's going on. Like I said, the same way that you have like these pointing dogs that literally want to notify you, the same way that, for example, any person that has pets, the second there is danger and you have dogs or cats, they'll start barking and hissing relentlessly and flipping out like they're losing their minds. And if your dog is trained, your dog is like a pointer dog, your dog is literally going to do this. It's going to literally direct you, or it's going to point towards the direction of said threat, provided that there is a threat to begin with, or whatever anomaly is taking place that has potentially hazardous effects for you as the homeowner in question, or just plain owner. Your astral body, not to compare your astral body to a dog, obviously, but your astral body works in a similar manner. That's why people get dreams about stuff. For example, you get a dream that your house is going to collapse in on you. The dream can, in some contexts, be taken literally. If it's not literally, metaphorically speaking, it simply means that a situation, a very unfortunate and just plain misfortune will overcome you, or will all of a sudden fall on top of your head, metaphorically speaking. It'll just show up out of nowhere, and it will almost like stonewall you. And your astral body saw that, and it is trying to notify you. Or not trying to, it's notifying you, as in, hey bitch, this is what's happening, okay? We need to be prepared for what's happening, okay? We need to do something. This is happening, yes. It's the same thing. What other examples can I give? The house that I currently live in, I don't think I've shared this with people on video. The house that if I have, then whatever, okay, I'm simply going to still bring it up as an example. The house that I live in currently, I moved to this house in March, April, or May of 2019, so like 4 years ago. And I remember when I still lived in the house that I lived in prior to this one, I had like, I think 3 months, 4 months before I moved here, I had a dream in which I literally saw this house, and it was really beautiful, and I remember it still, even after all these years. In that dream, I simply took a cab. I drove to essentially my front gate, and everything was exactly the way it is, but a more idealized version. So in hindsight, it dawned upon me that, hey, what I saw was the astral version of my house and the yard. So it was exactly the same, etc. Everything, the pond out in front, the palm trees, the coconut trees, everything. The only difference is that everything was shiny, everything was glimmery. And I still remember it after all these years, and I also remember that, yeah, the street was alongside a busy highway, which in my case, my exact address is called the 5th Driving Road, number 66, but yeah, in Dutch. Since Dutch is the official language of where I live, up to present date. And yeah, I still remember that dream, so that's my point. I remembered it, and I think I also saw my house briefly from a bird's eye view, but I'm not too sure about that. If that was the case, then it was simply also hinting at the fact that at some point I would view my house from an aerial perspective, which did happen. Because I think a year or two ago I took like a helicopter tour over my house, or just to a miscellaneous location. I was like, hey, listen, since we're going to be close by, just fly over my house and just circle around it briefly so I can take some cool pictures and videos and whatnot. But yeah, that's my point. That was my astral body's way of essentially telling me, as in, this is what awaits us, this is what's going to happen. Okay, we're going to move to this location. Because in my case, someone already told me way before I was an occultist that I have the ability to time travel, and I noticed that as well, because my astral body, before I was an occultist, let alone before I was the strongest occultist in the world, as always, even if I say so myself, it happened regularly to me. The whole concept of what the average person refers to as deja vu happened to me at a regular or on a regular basis, where I essentially in a flash saw, like as a normal person, so to speak, where I simply saw for like 2 seconds, I had a dream about being surrounded by people that I didn't know, so strangers in a strange location. And it was only when when that situation came to pass, I was in that moment that I got like the feeling as in, hey, it's like I did this before. And it's like I met these people before. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, I dreamt about this. And this is like 4 years later, 3 years later. This is like really in the future. And yeah, someone also told me, like I said, another experienced, not an occultist, a female psychic, a professional psychic, told me, that worked for the government. She told me that that I had the natural ability to time travel, and that at some point I would master it. And for all intents and purposes, I have mastered it. Like I said, this is purely spiritual time traveling. So now, when I see something happening in the future, it's like crystal clear. It's like I'm actually there, everything. Because all of my senses, everything is ultra developed. And yeah, it just goes on. So I saw my house before I moved into the house. Half a year later, boom, I'm in this house. When I went on vacation to the last country, I went on vacation to Jamaica recently. Before that, I had a dream in which I was riding an ATV, because I love riding ATVs. It's like my favorite pastime, off-roading. And I dreamt that I was in like some hill, semi-mountainous area where obviously you had normal asphalted streets, but the streets were narrow and they were very like curvy. You had like the streets essentially had a snake-like pattern to them, a lot of twists and turns and everything. And I remember in the dream, I thought to myself, yeah, you really need to be experienced to drive on these roads. And again, you also had to go up and down at like maybe a 40-degree angle, like really, sometimes even like a 50-degree angle, like really steep, and vice versa. And in the dream, everything was clear. I was feeling good about myself. I was really enjoying myself, and I was riding a really expensive ATV, like $11,000 or Euro ATV, you name it. And when I woke up, I didn't think too much of it. I simply asked what the meaning of the dream was, etc., etc. And I was told what the meaning was. I was like, okay. And I simply forget about it and go on with my day. I have it recorded on my audio recorder, so it's all good for future references, or for if I ever want to refer back to it. And when I was in Jamaica and I was in a cab, it happened on several occasions that we had to drive through those exact same neighborhoods that I saw in my dream. And I said to myself, this is what I saw. Because in Jamaica, you have certain thingies, in Montego Bay specifically, I think, or Negril, or in the surrounding area, you have like hills and whatnot. And exactly the way I described, that's exactly what I saw in my dream. A neighborhood, normal people living left and right, and the roads are narrow, things are etc., etc. Things are exactly the way I saw in my dream, but obviously ideal, because I saw the astral, the spiritual equivalent of the neighborhood that exists in the material plane in Jamaica. So when I was in that cab, like 5 p.m., I was like, this is what I saw. Now I remember it all. This is what I saw in my dream. Okay, my astral body told me essentially that, hey, this is what you're going to experience. We're going to go to Jamaica. And this was before I even thought about going on vacation to Jamaica. So like 4 months prior, 3 months prior to it, something along those lines. So yeah, this is exactly what I'm referring to, okay? The same way that when a fucking dog bites you, it hurts because your physical body is telling you that, hey, we contracted damage. And it's telling you where, it's telling you what kind of damage, albeit in a basic, straightforward manner, without openly just telling you. Your astral body, your spirit works in a similar, almost same fashion. So if something is wrong with you, like someone curses you, someone does something to you of a spiritual nature, or you're going to experience something that will have an effect on you spiritually, whether it be profound or otherwise, so whether it be for better or worse, it could be super positive, super negative, or anything else in between. Your astral body will notify you that, hey, this is what's going to happen, or it's notifying you what's already happening. And like I said, it's essentially doing what Lassie the dog is doing. This is happening, hey, this is gonna happen, do this, we need to do something about this. Or it's just an outright FYI, as in, hey, boss, FYI, this is what's gonna happen, or this is happening, okay, be aware of it. For the rest, it's up to you to decipher what the plan is. Like I said, your astral body, from a divine perspective, it wants you to work for things. Your astral body isn't going to just regurgitate all the information for you and you just sit on your ass. No. In some cases, it will tell you literally what's going on based on spiritual complexities. In other situations, it's not going to. It's going to do the exact opposite. And it's a reference to what Jesus said in the Bible. Unto these people shall be spoken in parables. He that has a brain to understand, understand it. He that has ears to hear, he hear it. And he that hath eyes to see, see it. Or at the very least something to that extent, something along those lines. So bluntly put, Jesus was simply saying, okay, I'm going to tell you guys and I'm going to impart, so share wisdom with you guys. I'm going to share and or impart wisdom with you guys, metaphorically speaking. Okay, I'm going to express myself in metaphors. Those that have the senses and the mental capacity to understand what I'm saying and are willing to understand it or put in the effort to understand what I'm saying, they are worthy of the knowledge and the power that comes along with it. So they will be able to process the wisdom. And if you're not one of those things, or you're not willing to, then you're out of luck essentially. That's the message. Not literally, but you know what I mean, in a matter of speaking purely. So yeah, in that same context, your spirit is telling you something, but it wants you to work for it. As in, hey, you need to actually put in the effort to just sit down and be like, what can it be? What can it be? Go over your entire life, not literally your entire life, but all the events that have been happening, what you do on a day-to-day basis, what can possibly happen, what do you have in mind in terms of what you're going to do in the near future or the future, all of those things, and you will come to your conclusion. At the very least, even if you don't, which is unlikely, it's worth the trouble, it's worth the effort. But if all you're going to do is just be like, yeah, who gives a shit, it's just a dream. I repeat, if all you're going to do is, yeah, who gives a rat's ass, it's just a dream, who gives a shit, then your astral body's going to be like, okay, fuck you, bitch, I'm done with you. I'm not going to bother with you. Okay, you don't want to listen? Fine. Until the moment's here, don't say I didn't tell you so. That's metaphorically speaking what your astral body is going to do. And if it sees that you keep doing that, if the spiritual you sees that you keep doing that, then it might just outright stop giving you messages altogether. It might just say, no, why would I bother? It's like me warning someone and the person doesn't listen. I'm like, oh, you don't want to listen. Okay. No. And that's my point. And the benefit that occultists have, well-developed occultists, or occultists that I have trained, LOL, or that I already taught them how to do stuff like this. So all they have to do is communicate with their own astral body and ask them, hey, what was the dream about? And your astral body will explain to you what the dream is about, because believe me, some dreams are so elaborate, like really just, I'm sorry. Yeah, some things are elaborate, like really high level elaborate, to the point where it's really hard to understand. It's really hard. And for example, a family member of yours dying can be signified by you seeing yourself sit behind a computer and all of a sudden your mouse doesn't work. As in, your actual computer mouse does not work. Like that. So it's hard to make that connection from a mundane perspective. But like I said, you need to be willing to put the work in. But occultists have that advantage or benefit where they, generally speaking, obviously all things spiritual, they know what to do with the information that's being relayed to them. At the very least, at a basic level, so they know that, hey, this actually means something, so I need to be wary of this. What else can I say? Yeah, I'm also going to give you guys an example. One last example before I go, just for practicality's sake. I had a dream a couple of days ago that guys that I used to hang out with in 2020 and 2021, so 2 to 3 years ago. They're primarily Indian guys because a bunch of Indians live in my neighborhood, notably hillbilly Indians, the kind that barely even knows what a computer is, you name it. You know, no offense to them, but yeah. So essentially, like, hello sir, what can I help you with? Yeah, like those kind of guys. And I had a dream that the guys I hung out with, which were cool by the way, from a at least superficial perspective. We simply hung out, we did a bunch of fun things, we went out, road trips, stuff like that. We had a blast. But obviously all of it is on my dime because these guys broke losers. No offense to them, but seriously, man. If I don't pay for everything, then nothing's happening. And I had a dream, and the dream was crystal clear, in which I went with these guys, I like reconnected with them, and I went with these guys to the local mall and a bunch of other places, and I essentially afterwards said that I'm going to go back home. And I went back home, but I lived in a different house compared to the house I currently live in. I lived in a house that was multi-story. So it had I lived on the upper floor. And I remember I think I tried calling them to ask them if he wanted to, one of them, to ask them if he wanted to do something, like some other activity, partake in some other activity. And he was like, no, I have to get back to work or something like that, something along those lines. The answer was no, he was otherwise occupied. And when I woke up, I knew what that dream meant. That dream simply meant, and my astral body concurred. He told me, yes, you already know what it means. Your intuition is already well developed to the point where you barely need me to tell you, depending on the dream. But this is an example of that. And it essentially simply meant that these guys, two of them, the two main ones, they essentially met up with each other again. And they essentially reminisced about old times, as in, hey, you remember a couple of years ago when we hung out with Marino, all the places we went to, that was a blast, etc. Speaking of Marino, have you seen him? No, I haven't seen him. The guy he broke off contact with me. He ghosted me a couple of years ago, and that's the last I saw of him. I still see him uploading stuff on YouTube, on his secondary YouTube channel, blah, 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 blah. So the general consensus is that these guys got around to talking about me, not gossiping, but simply reminiscing about old times with me. And, talking about miscellaneous things, if I still live at the 5th Driving Road and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. And the one that I essentially in the dream called, and he said no, he was otherwise occupied. Not that I was planning on doing so, but that specific section or that action or event simply means that even if it came to some kind of reunion, that he would not be willing to partake because he already has other things going on in his life that leave him occupied to the point where he he doesn't have time. So even if I were to reach out to him and say, hey, how's it going, long time no see, do you want to hang out again, he's going to say, no, I'm sorry, Moino, I already have a lot of other stuff going on, blah, blah, blah. Not that I have any interest whatsoever in doing so, no, not even remotely, but again, the dream was very detailed, okay, in terms of their intentions and what they did specifically and their general thought patterns. But you see what I mean? My astral body notifies me immediately. Anything that's mention worthy notifies me. So someone that seriously thinks about, let alone if someone seriously poses a threat to me, someone thinks that they're going to harm me, and they actually pose a threat to me, only in a metaphorical way, not literally. Are you kidding me? My astral body will notify me like that. Speaking of that, one last example before I go, one very last example, is that I also had a dream, a year ago or approximately, or half a year ago. It was when someone tried attacking me magically, and it was laughable, honestly, because I knocked the person's lights out, a woman, and I knocked her lights out like there was no tomorrow, just without even trying. And I had a dream shortly afterwards where I was just somewhere and a person had two hyenas for pets. You heard that correctly, hyenas. And these hyenas attacked me. They tried to attack me, but I simply easily fended them off. I essentially just stuck out my arms. They bit my arms instinctively, but it didn't hurt whatsoever. And I had them like gripped, and I was just telling the person, hey, come get your fucking hyenas, okay? Come get your fucking dogs. It didn't even remotely pose a threat to me. It didn't even remotely faze me. And I know what the meaning of the dream was. I asked my astral body when I woke up, and it told me that, yeah, these two imbeciles. I can't remember if I asked my astral body. I think I didn't deem it important enough, or I was already aware of what it meant. Like, yeah, wait a minute, it's that stupid bitch and her boyfriend or something, right? They're trying to attack me or something, or they have their sights set on me or some crap like that. I'm like, yeah, I don't give a rat's ass because they don't pose a threat to me. If they try something, I'm gonna knock their lights out. Okay, all I have to do is you give the command to one of the guys I work with, and it's game over, more or less. And yeah, that's essentially it. Of course, my astral body prefers to, in such a case, he would prefer to definitely take care of the work himself. And yeah, that's it. My perfected infinity astral body would prefer doing it himself. But again, you get the gist of it, okay? My point is I'm notified spiritually of anything. It's like spiritual email, a notice as in, okay. So yeah, even people that think about me, for example, I'm super emphatic. Oh yeah, I know I keep saying last thing, but one last thing, one thing that will, especially guys, will find this very juicy, so to speak. And so yeah, that also includes on the sexual front. I mean, I have, for example, I have both had and still have women that do things like masturbate to me and whatnot, to the thought of me or my videos or anything, just to me overall. And let's just say I feel it literally. So if I'm just sitting quietly or I'm doing something, I'm going about my day and my life, and then all of a sudden I will feel, you know what, I'll feel aroused and I'll feel my breathing increase heavily, you know, the same things you experience when people get busy. And I'm like, oh boy, because I know what time it is, I'm like, someone's thinking about me. Because I literally feel it, their energy, their spiritual energy flows through me. Especially if it's a target of some sort, someone that I know and have my sights set on or otherwise, just an example. But overall, yeah, I know that, and I'm like, hey, I feel it, you know. And I'm like, yeah, I feel it. And before you know it, my hand is down my pants, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I know what I'm doing, but I simply mean as a figure of speech. What am I doing? And I'm like, okay. And again, I can literally do like a 2-second reading on someone. I was like, let me guess, who is it? What's she doing? Oh boy. And yeah, I can easily ask someone else. I'm like, hey, you remember that girl I told you about? Check to see what she's doing. Check for me, please. Can you check? Okay. She's masturbating. To whom? To you. She's thinking about you and she's being quite aggressive. I'm like, yeah, I know. I can feel it. So yeah, that even happens to me. Not that I'm complaining, not that I'm a horn dog or something, but you know, it has its benefits, but at the same time, I want to say it can be an inconvenience as well, but it's not. It's just at best an oddity, and even then, it's only metaphorically the case, not literally. So yeah, that's all, guys. Bye. This video was a lot longer than I intended. I only intended like a 2-3 minute video, but it stretched out. In any case, enjoy and bye. Until next time.